Question. Is Keir Starmer's great reset with the EU and Europe about to blow up in his face and leave him with egg all over his face? Why do I ask? Well, if you remember, they had this big announcement a week or so ago about the reset of relations with the EU, in which we basically gave away for a further 12 years access to our fishing waters to EU boats, particularly French boats. There are a whole range of other measures. And one of the big positives that was lauded is that we would gain access to the EU Defence Fund, which was potentially £125 billion worth of defence spending in coming years, and that Britain would become part of that. Because we have a big defence industry, that would potentially bring a huge amount of money into this country, as well as kudos, as well as military alignment, blah, 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 blah. Well, it turns out that our good friend, President Macron, you know, the fella who keeps getting shoved in the face by his husband or wife, President Macron, and many of the other EU bigwigs don't really want Britain involved in that at all, and are potentially going to go out of their way to try and make it happen that we don't have any part in that EU Defence Fund. So one of the big reasons that Keir Starmer was willing to bend over and pull his trousers down to the EU and give away our fishing rights and give away some of our other rights and allow youth movement to come back in potentially, etc., is that they wanted access to this European Defence Fund. That potentially was going to bring in billions of pounds and was the big win. But now, potentially, that's not going to happen. The Frenchies, we are giving, bear in mind, we're giving them hundreds of millions of pounds every year to supposedly police their beaches and stop migrants getting into the water and setting off for Britain. How well is that working? Is that doing a good job? Bearing in mind that we are having a record year so far this year. So we're giving them hundreds of millions of pounds for a job they're not doing. We're giving them access to our fishing waters. We're allowing, or going potentially to allow, their youths under the age of 30 to come and work in the UK when their youth unemployment is 50% higher than it is in the UK. We're giving them all of that, in return for which we was going to get access to the EU Defence Fund, except that we're not, or it looks like we might not. Negotiation on another level there, Keir. You've done an absolutely banging job, mate. Stunning. What are you going to negotiate for us next? Can't wait to see what other great wins you get for us. It's a joke. The French are not our friends. The EU are not our friends. They bloody hate us. They still want to punish us because we have the temerity to leave, because we dropped them in it, because we stopped giving them our, what was it, probably by now, £22 billion a year contribution to the EU coffers. They will never stop punishing us because we had the balls to do something that many of their other countries haven't got the balls to do. They despise us because of it. I don't mean the individual people within those countries. They don't. But the bureaucrats, the faceless non-entities behind the governments, the people in the governments, they hate us. We've always been the outsider. Britain's never been popular in Europe. We've never been their mates, really. They've always just sort of rumbled along together. But then, because we decided to leave, they can't stand us. And they will go out of their way to get one over on us, punish us, harm us in every way they can forevermore. Don't be doing deals with them unless we have the whip hand and the upper hand. And don't be letting the village idiot, Starmer, and his idiot appointees negotiate anything, because it's not going to turn out well.